Right, guys, Liverpool have just beaten West Ham by a 0-0, and it was a game where Liverpool started off very well, which is rare these days. It was almost like the exact opposite of what Liverpool would normally do in a game these days. Like, Liverpool tend to start off very slow and almost give their opponents a head start in some games by just letting them score. But Liverpool today, they started in the right way, got on the front foot, and Darwin Núñez was brilliant well, not the entire time he was on the pitch, but especially the first half. I think the whole team second half just lost the momentum, but Núñez, especially first half, was constantly causing the West Ham backline problems. He nearly scored two screamers with left-footed volleys, both from outside the box, one hitting the post and one forcing Fabianski to tip over. But he did open the scoring and open his Anfield account for Liverpool. He did score for Benfica last season at Anfield, actually. I was there. But yeah, brilliant header. Fabianski had no chance saving it. It was quite similar to a header that Firmino scored against Tottenham a few seasons ago, where he heads it into the ground and it bounces up into the far corner. Really good header, good cross from Tsimikas, I think it was, on the left-hand side, and that put Liverpool ahead. And Liverpool, they stayed in control until about 5 minutes until half-time. Then West Ham started to put a bit of pressure on, and they got a penalty. It was 100% a penalty. I don't know what Joe Gomez was thinking. Jarrett Bowen had controlled it with his chest. He wasn't going towards goal, he was going towards the byline. And he wasn't going into a position where he could get a shot off. So as long as Joe Gomez stayed with him, there shouldn't really be too many problems, unless Bowen can somehow get a cross in, which would have been unlikely if Gomez had stayed tight without putting too much contact, which is what he did. Barged him over, and VAR gave a penalty, incorrectly so. And Bowen took the penalty, and I said whilst watching it, Bowen's going to put it bottom left, because I've seen him take a couple of penalties this season, and he usually goes bottom left. And he did, and Alisson saved it. Alisson has a phenomenal record on penalties now. I think out of 13 that he's faced, he has stopped 6 of them from going in, which is nearly 50%, which I think is the highest of all time for anyone who's faced 10 penalties. So another incredible record for the Brazilian. But yeah, Liverpool, they needed to liven up, because second half they started a bit drab, to be honest. West Ham were putting more pressure on. Scamacca was stretching the defence a bit, and they brought Benrahma on as well, so that they were going all out attack, but they just couldn't get the final pass to click, really. The closest they really came to scoring, besides the penalty in the second half, was right at the end, when James Milner had to stop a probably certain goal when the ball was squared, and Scamacca would have had a tap in. But that all came from some poor defending from Alexander-Arnold. The ball coming over the top, he leaves it, allows Benrahma to pick up the ball, then take it past him with ease and get a ball across. So not good defending from Trent again this season, really. And I don't think Liverpool were superb defensively tonight. I think it was more a case of West Ham not being clinical enough in front of goal, and not really getting into the right positions to get shots off, if anything, because there were mistakes being made by the likes of Gomez and Alexander-Arnold tonight. But yeah, Liverpool, they're sticking with this 4-4-2 system. Tonight it was Salah and Carvalho out wide. Salah eventually came down the middle when Núñez was brought off for Elliott. But and then Salah, obviously, once he moves down into the middle of the pitch, he gets more into the games. This 4-4-2 suits Salah perfectly when he's playing as part of the front two, but not when he's playing in the midfield four. So I think it's hard to work out what Klopp needs to do going forward, because it feels like Firmino's got to be starting at the minute, but and also Núñez is the new big summer signing, who has started to look like now over the past few games like he it is in form. So it almost feels like he needs to be starting as well. And then Salah, you know, that Salah's going to be at his best, and he has looked quite good in the past few games, scoring a hat-trick against Rangers, the winner against City. It's almost like one of them's got to be dropped, and I think it needs to be Elliott on the right, and Carvalho or Curtis Jones came off the bench, so that's another option on the left. So I think it's going to be a case of you can't throw all of them in, else it just doesn't quite work. The midfield pairing tonight was Henderson and Thiago. Henderson, it was a weird, strange game for him. The first half he misplaced quite a few passes, but second half I was quite impressed with him. He was making some really positive runs, getting in the right positions and playing some good balls across. He's managed to square one to Firmino, which Firmino should have done a lot better with actually. He put it straight towards the keeper, it took a deflection and went out for a corner, but if he'd have put it into the corner, it would have avoided the deflection and just gone straight in. So he should have done better with that chance. But yeah, there is still this lack of ruthlessness with Liverpool sometimes, and it doesn't feel like Liverpool are that team anymore that score 3 or 4 goals every, well, not every single week, obviously no one's ever done that in the Premier League anyway, but it feels like they've sort of lost the ability to score 3 or 4 goals consistently, and if, like at the start of the last season, Liverpool were scoring 2 or more goals a game for quite a good run of games, and it's been like that obviously in prior seasons, but it's since, I don't know, December time last year, it just feels like Liverpool, they score 1 or 2 goals and then they try and sit on it. Obviously, the start of this season, Liverpool have been in poor form, so they haven't even been winning games like they usually have been under Klopp over the past half decade or so. But for West Ham, it's not a horrendous result. I mean, coming to Anfield and losing by a goal, I mean, there's no real shame in that. But I just feel as though that they'll feel as though they could have got something out of the game with the penalty, and also when they had chances, Scamacca, especially with that counter-attack chance which he needed to keep on target, that they might feel as though they could have nicked a draw out of this, and I think that is would have been a possible outcome as like given the circumstances of the chances in the game. But they did defend reasonably well, West Ham, to be fair. Carrot, I thought, had a good game. I've criticised him quite a lot this season. I haven't been impressed with him, to be honest. I've seen him make a couple of mistakes early on in his West Ham career, but tonight he played very well. Same with Cresswell as well at left back. I thought he had a solid game, keeping Salah quiet for the majority of the first half. But yeah, Liverpool, in the end, they did enough to win the game 1-0. That was what I predicted the score would be, actually. But Liverpool just need to get in a run of winning games right now. It doesn't matter how, they just need to do it. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching this video, and I will see you next time.